My name is Dana Leirani. I'm the Assistant Director of the Center for Contemporary Arab Studies here at Georgetown University. Thank you very much for joining us today for the film screening of 10 Days Before the Wedding. The Center for Contemporary Arab Studies at Georgetown University is pleased to partner with the Embassy of the Republic of Yemen, the Middle East Institute, the American Institute for Yemeni Studies, and the Council of American Overseas Research Centers to present this film screening. After my introduction, Mr. Mohsen Al-Khalifi, the producer of the film, will provide brief remarks, and then we will begin the film screening. After the film concludes, the director, Amr Gamal, and Mr. Al-Khalifi will show a short making of the film, and then hold a discussion where they will take questions from you all. Please line up behind the microphones on either side of the auditorium to present your questions. Out of respect for our esteemed guests and everyone's time, please refrain from asking more than one question at a time, as we plan to end the event promptly at 9:45 p.m. Based on the request of the filmmakers, kindly refrain from recording the film screening or taking pictures at any time during the event. And now, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Mohsen Al-Khalifi. Mohsen, a Yemeni producer and presenter, was born in Aden, Yemen in 1993. After moving to the United States of America at the age of 17, he attended high school in Philadelphia. During this time, he started his own YouTube channel presenting a talk show dedicated to Yemen, Aden industry. Returning home in 2016, Mohsen began his professional career as a TV presenter with a well-known Yemeni TV channel. His weekly hour-long show has aired every Friday, and his TV show, Shaqdafa is among the most successful shows in Yemen. Should have mastered that Yemeni accent. In 2018, he collaborated with his friend Amr Gamal to create the first Yemeni commercial movie to be shown in theaters 10 days before the wedding. The film was met with incredible public acclaim, consequently opening the door to the movie-making industry in Yemen. Mohsen, would you join us, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Dana, for your kind introduction. Good evening, everyone. Your Excellencies from the diplomatic community in Washington, D.C., with special greetings to His Excellency, the Ambassador, and our dear brothers and sisters from the Embassy of Yemen, various and special U.S. government officials, distinguished faculty and staff of Georgetown University, most especially from the Center for Contemporary Arab Studies, senior representatives from the Council of American Overseas Research Centers and the American Institute for Yemeni Studies, notable members of the Middle East Institute, esteemed guests, fellow Yemenis, of course, and friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is a distinct privilege and pleasure for my colleague and great friend, Director Amr Gamal, and me, of course, to be with you for this very first screening of our film in Washington, D.C. We are very grateful to, we are very grateful for organizing this event on short notice. I'm sorry, everyone, I'm a little bit nervous because it's my first time saying a speech in English, and I have this paper so I don't forget anyone, because a lot of people helped us a lot. Indeed, it was through the energetic effort exerted by GUCCAS and AIUYS with the added support from MEI and Embassy that this occasion was able to be arranged. Speaking for myself, I think I might need to pinch myself. I'm both so humble and honored to be here. And in the Q&A session after the screening, Director Amr Gamal will also have a few words to express his own personal appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't wish to delay much further to the screening of the film. We also have for you a 2-minute video after the screening and before the start of the discussion period. with the director Jamal. However, I would like to inject this commentary for you to bear in mind as you begin to watch the film. So, first of all, the situation in Yemen has become really confusing to talk about because of the media and the way it tells the story about what has happened in Yemen. In Yemen, there are some cities still suffering from the ongoing conflict, while other areas are deemed liberated. Our movie was entirely produced in our beautiful cosmopolitan, it's a hard word, but it explains how lovely our coastal hometown of Aden is, and whose story is based on what happened in Aden, which was the first city to be freed in July 2015 after the coup took place. But it was freed after hundreds of people were killed, hundreds of homes and properties were destroyed, and hundreds of thousands of lives were changed. Even though the war has stopped in Aden, the suffering hasn't ended. The city still suffers from war's aftermath. I'm referring to aspects like lack of security and collapse, or major struggle with the economy, among other things. Indeed, many people who had the means have left the country to look for a better life, while others, especially the youths, are stuck and can't make a living inside the country. Yes, there is many existing and long-term challenges. However, this film is a reminder to the whole world that even when war ends, normal life doesn't return easily. And even some small dreams sometimes become almost impossible to realize. So we hope you guys enjoy the movie, and we have the Q&A session after the movie with my dear friend Amr Jamal. I'll let you all watch the movie now, and I'll see you there, okay? Thank you.
الحرب دي خلاص خلصت وما بترجعش مرة تانية.
يا أم الحرب عادة مستمرة بس بطريقة تانية.
خلاص يا بنت انت لا تهمنيش حاجة. الزواج بيتم غصبا عن الدنيا كلها.
ليش معي غيرك وكان علو؟
كيف اتزوج وانا بلا شغل ولا بيت ولا بيس؟
لا تفرق بنت الناس مرة ثانية.
Thank you for your attendance, and I hope you enjoyed the movie. I have a few words to say. First of all, thank you, Professor Davis, for your generous introduction. I too am deeply honored to be here at Georgetown University. I thank you and your Center of Contemporary Arab Studies colleagues for hosting us this evening and the effort made to make this happen. I also wish to acknowledge Middle East Institute for helping to promote and support this event. I would like to thank our ambassador, Dr. Ahmed Awad Mubarak, and his great team at the Embassy of Yemen for their tireless backing, both in helping us with my visit to the USA, and also for their great support to get the recognition for the film qualify for the Academy Award nomination process last year for the best foreign language film representing Yemen. We are also very proud to have made the first commercial film in Yemen spanning over 14 years, and to make the first film of any kind to screen in Yemen's theater since unification in 1919, almost 3 decades ago. Finally, before starting our conversation, I would like to pay a very special thank to the American Institute for Yemen Studies, and by extension KYOR, both for their supporting to get this film screen here at Georgetown, but also for their sponsorship in my visit to Washington, D.C. as whole. I am profoundly grateful and appreciative for affording me this unique opportunity and special consideration. Thank you, Heidi. Where is Heidi? Thank you very much. Thank you immensely for all your assistance, and thank you to the senior leadership of AIYS for coming to join us in this evening for this screening. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe Mohsen, if you want to join me and start the discussion, if there is any questions. Thank you.
So, how you guys doing? You like the movie? معلش بس هذا ايش اسمك؟ مرة ثانية؟
ملكي باخوبير.
الله يحفظك يا خالة يعني
دموعك غالي علينا طبعا.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this in Arabic. I'm sorry guys. بس يا خالة عنا لا تبكيش معلش. يعني عدن ان شاء الله بتلقى احسن من اول ان شاء الله. Okay guys, who would like to start today with us? Any questions?
Thank you both, first of all, for presenting this and making this wonderful film and all the efforts that must have gone into it. So, given all of the ways that the war has impacted Yemen, and all the ways that I'm sure it still impacts everyday life, what made you decide on a wedding for this topic, and why did you focus on a wedding, and why 10 days before the wedding?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe this idea of making this contrast between the happiness and the willing of finishing such a simple dream, which is a simple right for everyone to just have this marriage and to end this love with the normal ending. But we wanted to show the whole world, because marriage at the end of the day is something related also to economy. Everything is 1 + 1 + 2 + 3. So the collapse of economy, the wedding was the perfect idea for me to represent the collapse of economy through this simple project, which is a simple right for both the groom and bride. And why 10 days? Because this tiny period of time, how can English? I will try to explain it. Sometimes we are like walking on a rope. You know what I mean? Because everyone has some savings, a very few money. If you just lost a little bit in a country like Yemen, you will fall. So that's why how they are walking on this rope all the movie, trying just to reach for this simple dream. That's why we choose only 10 days, and all these obstacles, which is an after, each obstacle is an aftermath, face them. That's why.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Schneider, and I teach diplomacy and culture here, and also run, co-direct something called the Laboratory for Global Performance and Politics, which is theater and international affairs together. And thank you so much for this wonderful film. And I really loved how you made it about kind of everyday life, not the war, but the war was there every day in everyday life. And you did those two things really beautifully. I have two questions for you. One, I knew the film and saw the film A New Day in Old Sana'a and knew the filmmaker. And so I'm kind of wondering what, that film I think was done in 2005. And wasn't it around
Maybe
then?
before, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I think it was around
I don't
then.
remember.
And that film was made under tremendous duress. The parliament sort of midway through said you can't make this film anymore and tried to shut it down. In that film, there were 3 couples who got married from the filmmaking experience, and then they all got divorced. It was a really dramatic process. So I'd love to know a little more about the process of making this film, and it must have been incredibly difficult and challenging. And then 2, the other thing I'd love to know about your theater work, and what that was like, doing that in the last 10 years, and then what led you to go to film from theater.
Okay. My dream from the beginning was to do a movie, actually, and because this idea, the movie is something very difficult, and doing a film is something need very high budget and need a very good timing. And this was what I thought in 2005 before we have this war. So I found like the theater was much easier to start doing some piece of art that includes acting, because that was my interest. Okay, so we started to do theater, and unfortunately, because of the 6 wars of Aden, all theaters were closed. So we tried to find some place, and what's funny that we performed our plays in an old cinema in Aden, because they had the cinema had this stage, so we performed in that cinema because we didn't have the venue. And we continued doing theater year after year, and then we jumped to the TV, to the television cameras and video, which is close to the dream, to the big dream, the cinema, and trying to make a balance between the theater and TV. I don't have TV, but I went to TV just because I felt like it made me closer from the dream of cinema. So after war, the cinema became it's an open cinema which we performed in. So we were afraid after war that someone will throw something, because it was like a riot in the city, especially in 2016. It was like lack of security, a huge lack of security. It continued like this right now, but it's much better than 2016. So we couldn't go back to theater. We were afraid someone will throw something from this open cinema. And TV series channels stopped producing TV series because there is no sponsors anymore because of the war. No one wants to sponsor any brand because the economic collapse. So we sat without doing anything for 3 years, and then Mohsen came to me and told me why we don't think of doing a film. I told him we postponed all this whole project since 2005. And we'll do it right now in this bad situation. He said it will be, maybe if we could do it, it will be something remarkable, and we will make this history. So I went to the house and I thought of it, and I started to take the whole experience. I have the actors, I know how to produce a TV series of 30 episodes in 60 days. I need this, I need that. Okay, I called my son, told them, let's start doing it. We were afraid from different issues, like because of the bad propaganda in even if you are leaving a city and the media tell you all the day and night that the city is full of terrorists and extremists, you will be afraid, even if you don't see those things happening all the time. Maybe it happened some here and there in different periods, because there is a war and there is a lack of security, but it's not like what the media say. So we're afraid, can we go to streets and shoot a film? Can we go to streets with girls are the people, did the people change? Because maybe they say people became more conservative, so we were afraid. This one first thing. Second thing was where we will show the film for the people, because all those films, we have maybe 3 or 4 films before 10 days before the wedding in Yemen. Most of them went directly to the festivals. No one of them was showing the film to the people. And our intention was to make a film for people. So where we will show this movie? This was the second question. So we start and to ask where we'll have this kind of venue, which I don't know, the Mudarraga, which is like this. So we discovered that we have only 2 places in Aden City, which is wedding halls. So we went and asked if we can rent them. The owners said, okay, you can. And then what's about the screen? One of the people who work with me in theater come with the suggestion that we can do a wooden screens, 6 by 4 meters. One other from the people who work with me in TV said, okay, we can bring a projector, high definition projector. It's not that expensive. We can Google them and find something. So the experience from all this previous work in theater and TV inspired us. And then we went to find some sponsors. We went to all the people around the city and told them we can put some advertisement before the movie so you can give us money. No one convinced. At the end of the day, well, some of them convinced. Our ambassador helped us also in this. And we got this $30,000 and talked to the girls. Can you go outside and film the movie? You are not afraid? They all said, no, we are not afraid. We'll go and do the filming because we are already staying in home without any work and we feel bad. It's better if we went outside and whatever happened, at least it will happen while we are working, not while we are sitting at home without doing anything. This was the answer from everybody. So we went to the streets and we were afraid. So we did a lot of rehearsals because we were afraid that, okay, media say there's a lot of terrorists, a lot of extremists in the city, so we have to go very fast to the streets, take the scene and go back, and we need to do it in 13 days only. But there were the surprise. Because when we went to the city, the whole city helped us. Aden came from a background of a city that has a lot of cinemas, more than 50 cinemas. We had a lot of theaters, and it was like a golden era for cinemas and theater until the mid-80s. And then after the 90s, everything was shutting down because of political issues. So all the people helped us. No one said for us no. Everyone opened the doors for us. Everyone gave us his shop and said, come and shoot in the shop. We were shooting in June. It was very hot. We were in the streets, and people opened the doors and bring us water and juice to help us. So the whole city helped us. No one stood in front of us. That was great and amazing. And then the audiences, when we started to show the film in 21st of August, something bad happened the day before. Someone threw a vocal bomb to make people afraid from coming to in front of one of the halls of the venues. But people never get afraid. They came, and because there were a lot of people, it was beyond our expectations. They saved the movie. They saved us because everyone, the whole city came. So no one can do something for maybe if there is someone, one of his families will be attended if there is someone who is from the extremists or something like this. So it was like a surprise for us. The city helped us a lot. That's the story, and I'm sorry if I told a lot of talking.
Hello. Thank you very much. I very much enjoyed the movie. It was an interesting mix of sort of the comedy and tragedy, hope and despair. I wondered, when you set out to make it, did you know what kind of movie you wanted to make? Did you start out thinking I wanted to make a comedy or a tragedy? Did you know you wanted to make somewhere kind of a blend?
Actually, I think Yemeni people here will agree with me that it's close to our life. Our life is a mixture of all what you have said right now. So we just thought to do something look like us, and that's what look like us.
All right, I want to thank you first for the movie, and it was great, and I love it. I'm sure everybody here loves it. But I have one question. Do you guys gonna make a documentary about what happens in Aden? Through the Adeni's eyes, not through the fake news that people will make up things to say that's what's going on, but that's not what's going on. Are you guys gonna make a documentary about what happened? You guys thinking about doing it?
Maybe, but I'm focusing on feature films. So, but why not? Maybe someday will be interesting to show the world what happened in Aden through our eyes. Maybe I think our voice is not heard enough, especially the city of Aden. The voice is very, there's a hidden voice and no one listens to us. So I think movies are a very good way to show the world what really happened through our eyes.
So you guys planning to make one?
Maybe, why not? We should. Sure, we'll do it. Or in future movie, maybe we also can tell what happened.
Hi, Abdul Halim Rijal. So thank you for this movie. Of course, this touches me personally because I'm very deeply connected to Yemen and to Aden because my wife, she's from there. I have family for the last 80 years. I'm originally from Somalia, Somali American. So I know why people, they cry now because it's the devastation of a war. So if there's two things that we can take from this movie is, even though the civil war goes many places like Somalia for the past 25 years, and in Lebanon in the 80s, but it never stops the wedding. You know, people, they still celebrate, although it's a devastation. So if Khala, she cried, I cried as well, because it's the separation that we separated from our families forcefully. It's not our choice. Secondly, as you said, and you mentioned that Aden will come back as it used to be, and that's true because Somalia is coming back now. In Mogadishu, if you see 20 years ago, today you can travel back and forth without problems. Although there's some, explosions and people killing in the streets, and there's atrocities going on. Finally. Why you chose Aden? Of course, there's other places in Yemen that now in Hadramaut, in Sayon, in Mukalla, there's peace now. That the terrorism, they've been cleared from that area. Are you willing to go there and do where the peace now is raging in Yemen? And finally, what I would like to say kudos to you is. As you said, you have to do this movie because if we don't do it, the terrorism will take over. So this is like countering them and saying to them, we cannot afford to give it back to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, Somalia and Aden has a similar fate because we are living in Aden from decades and hundreds of years. Like we are one, Somali families and Adeni families are one of the whole past. I don't know, maybe 60, 70, 80 8 decades or maybe more. Why Aden? Because it's my hometown, so I know everything about Aden, so I want to do something that I know. But there is another way to, like you said, about Mukalla. We are inshallah going to show the movie in Mukalla in Eid al-Fitr. We are planning this. We talked with also ambassador, and we will arrange this. And this will be also maybe we will do movie based in Mukalla in future. But right now we can go and open the movie there, and people can enjoy it and come and live the same experience like people in Aden lived with that movie. And we hope to open it also in the rest of the governorates once each of them. Had a better situation than what we have now. Thank you.
Just to add one more thing, and I believe also like all the messages that we sent via this movie, they were all shared. Like what happens in Aden happens on other cities in Yemen, and it's like the struggle is one, and like we all face the same things. And I believe like the final conclusion of the movie was the scene at the end when the wedding was happening at that damaged place. So that says basically like even from a fully destroyed place, happiness can grow again, and that's the main message behind the movie.
Hello, Salam. The movie was really well done, like everyone said, and it brought a lot of memories back for me from when I used to visit back home with my family. So thank you for that. I have two questions. One was, how stressful was the movie for you to film? Because I know it's like a hard time over there. And then I thought you said it took 13 days for you to film, but I'm not 100% sure. I just wanted to know how long it took.
Okay, so many people ask this question, like how hard was it to make the movie? Actually, it wasn't just the process of making the movie as my dear friend Amr mentioned before. Like it was a whole project, like cinema project, because we didn't have like only to make a movie. We had to, prepare places to show the movie, and this is what was like the hardest thing, because like shooting a movie might not be that hard, but doing a movie in a city that has no venues to show whatsoever, that was the hardest thing to do, and especially with the lack of security, as you mentioned before.
Damaged venues. We have venues.
Damaged, yeah.
They are damaged, and no one helped to reconstruct them, unfortunately.
Yes.
During the 30 past years, we have a lot of venues.
Yes, sadly. And the movie process took maybe a couple of months, but the shooting was in 30 days, and the editing was in another 30 days, but the writing and script and everything took a lot of months. Yeah, and like we faced a lot of struggles during filming the movie. We're talking about like a city which the electricity cut off every like 2 hours or so, so that was a hard experience. Like we used to shoot in 2 hours and take a break for 4 hours, like, it's like we don't want to take that break because we don't have that time, but we had to take the break, because even when the electricity is off, like if we have like something, to get the generator, I'm not sure of the word, but like the whole environment will be very, noisy because of all this sound. So we had to wait until the electricity come back, and that was like a huge struggle. And also the phone connections are so bad. Like when you're trying to reach an actor, you call him like 1,000 times, and
you go to his home.
You go to his home.
Yeah. To bring him. And said we changed the order.
Yeah.
We are shooting another scene today. So.
Yeah, Mustaf, the funny character. One day, like he missed the shooting, so we went to his house and he overslept. So he was like, I didn't hear the phone. I was like, okay. So and it's also like become an excuse, like if someone is trying to skip, he just turn off the phone and he blame it on the service.
Because no service is very bad. Also, even if you are having the generator, we have always no gas sometimes in the city.
Yeah. Sometimes, like when you need to buy gas, you have to go to the black market and buy it for an extra charge. So that was very hard, and we can take next step.
Okay. First of all, thank you for coming to Georgetown. The film was amazing. I'm very impressed with it. No one at Georgetown, a kid, like, oh my god. But I have a question. So you guys are both from Aden, right? And the film takes place in Aden. I was wondering if this story was to happen in northern Yemen, what kind of differences do you think would there be in the film?
I don't think there will be. Maybe the scenery will be different, and that's true, because there's different scenery. Maybe some issues in the movie. I don't know if the dealing with them will be the same. I know there is a lot of strong women in the north also, but I think women can have more, can be more expressive. I don't mean that the well-educated women everywhere in Yemen, they can have their own faith, but I mean in these small families, maybe the woman in the south has this louder voice. They can express themselves. They can. I don't know. There will be a different, small differences to approach, to reach the how can I say الحبكة يعني أو الplot. Yeah, but what was surprising for us, even if the movie is based in Aden, and the movie was like has this the whole thing is about Aden. People came from different governorates to Aden because Aden now has the airport. So we were surprised that all of them laugh and cry on the same scenes, and they feel like it represents them, and that was great because the same pain was shared by everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
So I wanted to thank you guys for the film. Obviously, it touched a lot of people. And also for your openness that you've had today, just kind of discussing different things. My grandma used to say, when you can't cry anymore, you laugh. And that's really what you've shown in, like, when you talk about everyday life. So in my country, we were in war for 36 years. I come from Guatemala. And we can still feel the war today. And it's a little bit different because our buildings were not torn down, but a lot of our morale was torn down. And we didn't have film, and we didn't have poetry, and we didn't have music that was ours for a very long time. So my first thing is just to thank you guys for keeping that part of your culture alive, because it's really, really hard to do in the middle of a conflict. And so with that in mind, my question is, what's next? What are the new stories? And how do you get your poetry, your film, and your heart out there with obviously a great group of talent that you have in Yemen, despite it all?
First, thank you for your encouraging words. Thank you very much. And it's a very hard question. Everybody keep asking me what's next, because it was like we never thought it would be like successful like this in Yemen. Now we are moving with the movie. It sounds good. Everywhere, because we want just to show the movie to the world as much as we can. Maybe we get noticed by the world. Maybe it will make it easy next to get funding, because you have done a movie and you have shown it and people know about it. So maybe sometimes when you apply for some funding here and there, they will trust you more. So it's because there's the first experience of doing a commercial movie in Yemen. So we're going through all this journey to understand everything, even the movie formats. No one, when we wanted to participate in festivals, we didn't find someone to ask him what's the meaning of DCP. You know, so we didn't know what to do. We were afraid we will lose this opportunity or that. Now we are through this journey, me and Mohsen, we can be the reference for our friends and other filmmakers in Yemen, because they can ask us now and we can answer them. They will not try to find someone to ask and they don't get a question. I'm thinking of a lot of ideas with my team, with my co-writer Mazen, with all the people who work in this movie, and my friend Mohsen. And we have many ideas. It will take time to do another movie, but nowadays, because I feel always responsible, a big responsibility toward theaters, because no one do theater in Yemen, and we stopped doing theater from 2014. So we are writing now a new play, and we'll perform it this year, inshallah. Yeah. Thank you.
As everyone said, the film was beautiful, so thank you for being with us today. My question is, what is your favorite character in the movie, if you have any, and why? Thank you.
They're all my sons and daughters. The cliche question. No, I feel like I love them all, but Rasha for me was my favorite character, because she represents the woman of my city. She represents. I was raised in an environment where all women were great and very strong, and they were all very inspiring. So I put all my experience with my city women and how they are persistent, how they are can defeat any problems, and how they are very strong and put as much as I can in Russia. So Russia is my favorite character.
Really, thank you both very much. And thank you to the audience and the ambassador and our honored guests. I don't know how many of you have been here at Georgetown before, but أهلا وسهلا فيكم في أي وقت. So please come back at any time.